Shalom Aleichem. Selamat siang. Apa kabar? Dzień dobry. Oh, okay. It works. Sweat pants and comfortable shoes, toiletries and clock adjusted to a local time. That is not the most important for crossing the borders. The most important things is to adjust to a local culture. It is around 6 p.m. now, but it doesn't mean anything. What really matters that I'm in Poland now, and I can't communicate on the street with the locals in Hebrew or Indonesian. It will be pretty hard if I want to understand them. Our grandparents or even our parents, they could not imagine that it will be so easy to travel around the globe just for few transcontinental flights. Nowadays, traveling has become more affordable for everyone, but at the same time, the experience we get from travel is also changed. It's become more spoiled by the consumerism that's promoted by the global companies, fast food industry, and so on. My name is Bogdan Logvynenko, and I have visited more than 50 countries and written several books. If you ask me who I think I am, I will tell you that, first of all, I'm a human. I'm a human because regardless the country I go to, time zones I get, languages and traditional change I face, I remain the same everywhere. The same like 1,000 of people around me. If you ask me again, all of us are human beings, but what kind of human you are? I would probably say that I'm a discoverer. Even all lands have almost already been discovered, except for maybe some spots in the Antarctic when you have a chance to turn into ice. Most animal and plant species have been discovered as well. So my grandma will ask me, so what are you discovering? What else can you do? And my response will be simple. I discover people. I discover their cults and cultures in the short moments of their life. And believe me, it's priceless. It's priceless to explore them, to get to know them, and for a moment to get myself into their shoes. During my travels, I always try to learn the languages. Reaching some level of understanding with little knowledge of language is also a part of a discovering. Not all languages comes to me so easily as Italian, where I can't just barely string a sentence together. And once I've been hitchhiking from Lisbon, from Kiev to Lisbon. It's around 5,000 kilometers, and I stuck in Genoa, in Italy, somewhere near Genoa, actually, on the gas station. And I ordered a latte. I asked some barman in the gas station bar, bring me a latte, and he bring me a poor milk, because in Italian latte is just milk. It doesn't contain any coffee. And so soon I found myself having a nap on the table with a glass of milk, and in front of me there were two women, speaks very loudly, and the next moment I was woke up at the morning on the same table. Women's are gone. Instead, I found two croissants, chocolate croissants, near my face. That was a nice present because I was a little bit hungry. And after a while of hitchhiking, I found him, my new friend, Patricio. He stopped and took me to Genoa. While he driving, he was telling me stories about the city, stories about himself, and everything was in Italian, so I can't understand anything. But it was with his Italian voice, Italian gestures, you know, and the way he was speaking was much more interesting than that stories, I'm pretty sure, even I don't understand anything. So then Patricia dropped me off in the city and drove away. And I went around just looking for some people, talking with them, asking how to buy bus tickets, how to find a Wi-Fi in information center and so on. After all, I walked into the bathroom and I saw my nose in the mirror. There is nothing special about my nose except one fact. It was all over chocolate. And I thought, okay, I think it was pretty hard for my new friend Patricio to give a tour through the city for such a funny chocolate-nosed guy. And that woman in information center, they were laughing on me after I left them. Was he looking for a Wi-Fi? He'd better be looking for a mirror. That's exactly what they said in Italian, I'm pretty sure. And you know what? A lot of people tell me that they can't travel because they don't know language. So I have just a small advice. Try to cover your nose with chocolate and find a travel guide who speaks a language you don't know at all. And maybe it helps you to get over your fear of traveling. Where are you going? Where are you from? These questions are the most frequent ones around the globe. Sometimes that's more important than your name even. I had been traveling a lot through Southeast Asia, and the longer I stay in each country, the more I felt like a citizen of my own country. You may bring a fridge magnets, postcards, or some other stuff, but the most important thing you can bring from travel is a fresh pair of eyes. Not literally, of course. I mean a fresh perspective on your native country, on the people you love, on yourself. You don't need to be a Buddhist monk to see the world through the monk's eyes. It's just enough to take your shoes off, to step on the hot road, and to hitchhike from the point A to point B, just on the country you don't know at all. Once on one of the Indonesian islands, I met a guy. We said hello to each other, and I asked him, where are you from? He said, Prague. As a fan of learning languages, I continued talking in Czech. Unfortunately, he didn't understand anything. I thought, okay, maybe my Czech is pretty bad. But in a few seconds he told me, well, I'm actually from Moscow, but it's been a year since I moved to Czech Republic. And it was a little bit funny, but you know what? I understand that guy. I understood him. Once you come from a country where people suffer from brutal repression, while the territories of your neighbor get annexed, you come from a country where hundreds of peaceful protesters got detained. You want to escape from all these annoying questions, you know, like, oh man, what happened with your country? What's going on there? I understood him because several years ago my country voted for a prisoner as a president, and I've got 1,000 of such questions around the world. So sometimes it's easier to say, I'm from Prague, because the chance somebody will respond to you in Czech is really rare. But I've always saying I'm from Ukraine. And you know what, I've always heard incredible stories in response. Like Javanese couple, which I met on the minibus somewhere on Java island, where light-skinned human is such a rarity, I must say, that everyone tried to make a selfie with you. Like Ukrainians who follow me on Facebook and whom I met by chance in the middle of deserted jungle. Like a Hindu doctor who were studying in Ukraine, and I met him just by chance on the road in Malaysia, and he showed me a Ukrainian flag, and he brings this flag always with him. So if you really get to know other cultures, you will find a new interpretation and meanings even in the most familiar things. What was my opinion about Ukraine before I left for travel to Southeast Asia for years? Bad judges, corrupted judges, awful roads, inhospitable people. There was nothing to do there for a discoverer. What did I see then when I came back? That these people, events and meanings are underestimated. Underestimated by folklore, the traditional literature, the classical literature, and magazines, and any other mass media. Being underestimated and unseen, they faced the threat of extinction before they were even discovered. Project Ukrainer, launched by our group of volunteers, aimed to change this through the stories of ordinary people around Ukraine. The team of our 100 travelers is working on the image of Ukraine. What did they gain from traveling? They just met people who asked them those two simple questions. Where are you heading and where you came from? And this made them wonder why I'm not comfortable with that questions. Okay, so what's so unique in Ukraine, you will ask? Let's just give one example. That poor infrastructure and poor Ukrainian politics save for us a real treasure, the Roma language and culture in the most original form. The Ukrainian team visited the Roma camps. In each village on our way, we were warned not to go there. All the people say, "You have not been there." We were told that our car might even be stoned there. But we kept going, disproving the fears of locals who treated us almost as heroes because we performed something they never managed to. Can you imagine how much it worth for a discoverer? The arch of travel is a very deep one. First steps of the baby, visit on independent festivals, going to work on the public transport, all of that about travels. Pressed between the door and the people in rush hour, you know, I'm in travel at that moment as well. You can always look for an excuse not to travel, but if you really want to, you have to try to feel as a discoverer. The journey starts from you. Thank you.